Hey, what's up, guys? I have received a couple different questions about drugs, how I feel about specific drugs. So rather than just answer them in the comment section, I decided to go ahead and make a little segment talking about those drugs. So in the first one, I'm going to discuss marijuana. Marijuana, weed, whatever you want to call it, is something that is very, very prevalent in our society, in our entire world. It has been such for a long part of our history, and it is very, very misunderstood and misconstrued. And the reason I say that is because the first thing that comes to mind is the classification of this drug. So currently in the United States, marijuana is a Schedule 1 drug. What that means is, as far as consequence and punishment for possessing or selling it, it's rated the same as if it were heroin. So, and I'm sure a lot of you guys realize how ridiculous that is without me explaining it. Weed is not as bad as heroin. Weed is not as bad as crack and coke, obviously. Yet the government still classifies it the same. So there are a lot of reasons behind that. It is not because it is dangerous for you and that it can kill you. So that's the first thing I want to touch on. And before I get into any specifics about any drugs or my thoughts on them, that the drug laws in general are not in place to protect. Let's just get that right out of the, get that out there. It's not that. They're there for two reasons. One, control. Two, money. That's what this is about. The government needs as many ways as possible to control people. The government needs a constant stream of money and funding. By creating drug laws and telling people that it's against the law for them to ingest or consume something, they've now opened up a whole different realm of possibility as far as generating money and as far as controlling people. I'm of the belief that with marijuana, the reason it was scheduled the way it was and made illegal in the first place was specifically to be able to target black people. Because at the time that these laws were actually created, there was a misconception or a stereotype belief that black people smoked way more weed than white people. Maybe it was true at that time. I don't know. But that's my personal theory on it, is that there were groups and organizations at the time, going back decades, that were very politicized, and our government would call them radicalized groups. Okay, so these are groups of minorities, black people especially, that grouped and formed together that the government saw as a threat. Okay, these people were not doing anything illegal other than communicating and expressing their feelings and thoughts. Because those feelings and thoughts contradicted what the government wanted or what they were presenting as the narrative, they needed a way to stop them and to disband them. The only thing that they could come up with was a lot of these groups or members of the groups smoke weed. Let's make this thing now called a drug and make it illegal and schedule it as a class 1 like heroin, so we can not only get warrants now and get access to get into these meetings where these organizations are, but now we could start dismantling the whole thing and knocking them out one by one and putting them away and shit. That's my personal theory. I don't know if anyone else feels like that or can make sense of that, but that's what I think. So going back to the point of the video now, how I feel about marijuana. I personally have used marijuana for a long time. I will follow that up by saying that I'm not advocating drug use in any way for anybody. My position will always, always be that not using drugs is much better than using them. Okay? Keep in mind also, guys, that some of the things that I do or have done in the past don't necessarily correlate to what your life is or what you should do. I'm fucked up. Don't take, if you're going to take advice from me and follow in my footsteps, do so in the things that I've done well with. Do so in the things that I'm strong in and that I can be proud of. Not in these kind of things, the character flaws. So I do still use weed. I smoke weed basically every day. I'm hesitant to even say that to anybody. I've never said that online before because a lot of people, again, they just assume things. They assume certain things and they will view me in a negative way just for that admission. Okay? Personally, I think that weed should not be illegal. in any way. I don't think there's any reason for it. As far as the danger aspect goes, I believe that alcohol is way, way more dangerous than weed. Okay? To my knowledge, there have been zero known deaths as a result of marijuana use in our entire history. Zero. A lot of people will bring up and say, okay, well, this guy was under the influence and he got in an accident as a result. None of that stuff can be proven. As far as scientific data goes, it is impossible to overdose from marijuana, and we still to this day have zero actual deaths as a result of direct use. So think about that number 0 now, and think about what I'm saying as far as our recorded history and how much that encompasses. Then think about alcohol. Think about cigarettes. Think about anything else you want to add in there, any kind of drug, anything, and you'll see that it's really unbelievable that there even exists anything that can be said about. Some of the reasons why I use it, I have a lot of stress. I have anxiety. I've suffered from depression for most of my life, and again, I don't know how this is going to come out to you guys, but the weed basically just dumbs me down. I hate to even fucking say that because it makes me sound like an idiot for consuming it and using it. But that's the truth. It quiets my mind and dumbs me down. For example, I'm not the type person that could just sit at home and watch a television program unless it's something I'm exceptionally interested in. I'm not into that. But if I smoke weed, now I'll have been dumbed down to the point where I can sit there and listen to whatever it is, and my mind is not racing as much as it would otherwise. I also use weed for pain reasons. I have a very fucked up back. To this day, I'm in pain right now. I'm in pain most of the time that I'm up and about. I have tried all kinds of different things, and though weed I think helps, I can't say that it helps a lot or to the point that it can replace any of the more traditional type pain medications that are used for people who have serious pain. It's a very mild sedative effect is what it does. I smoke weed before I work out as well. A lot of people are going to think that's counterproductive, but for me, I work out by myself. I have done so for years, as long as I can remember, and I'm just in my zone. I just do my thing. So I have my routine. Again, smoking anything is not good. Whether it be cigarettes, whether it be weed, whether it be anything, the actual smoke, the ingestion, to ingest the smoke is bad for you. It's bad for your respiration. It's bad for a lot of other things, I'm sure. But overall, if you guys are going to choose one drug, I would say that weed is the one that you should choose. Do so responsibly. Use it in a way that it's not going to conflict with you continuing to progress in life. It's not going to damage your character, your personality to the point where other people are seeing that something has changed about you. Don't become a fucking dumb stoner pothead, where you have no ambition, no desire to do anything, and you're just non-productive. Don't become that. Some of the side effects that I'll tell you about weed. Those that are visible. I don't know what's happening on the inside of my body. Again, I've smoked for literally decades, so I can't attest to that part. I know that my respiration is not as good as it could be. Basically, I get winded a lot sooner than I would if I didn't smoke weed. But I also smoke cigarettes and have so since I was little also. So both of those could be playing a part in that, or are playing a part in that. The only negative side effect that I can say I deal with for me is that it increases my appetite. For some, depending on the reason for use, that's actually a wonderful thing. For me, it's not a great thing because I try to control what I eat. And when I smoke weed, I tend to want to go for junk food. And basically, the discipline that I have clear-headed, where I don't even think about those fucking sweets and those kind of foods. After I'm done smoking weed, those things now start looking real good to me. You know, the sweets, the sugary stuff, cakes, ice cream, cookies. I'm all over that shit with the weed. So, again, that's the only negative, believe it or not, for me. You can learn to control that. I control it regularly, but I'm sure it'll be different for everyone else. It helps me sleep at night also. It helps me keep calm. And for those that care, you know, I am licensed, so I'm not admitting to any illegal doing here. I do carry a license to smoke and possess marijuana in the state of New Jersey. Not that many people have them. It's pretty new. But I am legal, just to be clear on things. So nobody can, you know, fuck with me now as far as that part goes. So again, guys, this was my first video on the Drug Talk series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, please, please keep in mind the most important thing about this whole thing is that I was hesitant to talk about drugs at all because I don't want any admission on my part of using or having used or tried in the past any drug to contribute to anyone else's decision to do the same. Please, guys, trust me when I tell you, if I could do it all over again, I would not fuck around with any drugs. I will be 100% clean. I really would. And understand also that what I do even now currently, a lot of the things I do, I know are not the best. I'm dealing and coping with so much that you guys have no fucking idea about. And when all things are considered, for me to smoke weed every day, it's not a big deal for me. You know, shit could be so much worse. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got something out of it, and I'll see you next time.